Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on some, not alarming, but it was tweets that I had seen today. I think I seen some yesterday. I wasn't, feel like I need to kind of give you guys a little bit of a backstory. Like, I don't want the narrative to be, oh, he was scrolling through and looking for any tweets being said about him. No, so Twitter currently right now, like they have like a weird algorithm where if you look your name up, like it generates like maybe not generates, but it'll show like random tweets throughout the years. Like I was seeing tweets that I made like almost 10 years ago, and some that were 10 years ago. And then they'll show tweets from other people. And it's been like that for some time. Like, I feel like it was the same set of tweets for the longest, because I remember there was, I don't know if she was a, like, former Just a Robot fan or what, but I think it's safe to say a lot of people are former Just a Robot fans. But anyways, but no, overall, though, there was this one tweet where I seen about myself, tweeted out by this person, and I think I even had reacted to a video of hers but she was like, she ended the tweet off like, TMossBoss still sucks though. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, that's one thing I think a lot of his fans can't, I guess like they can't say is that I did something to them personally. I never knew who this person was. Like, that's the influence that a video has on people, where it's like, it's kind of like a TV show almost, like when your favorite character dies and then you are crying and you're, like depressed and all that. And it's like, dang, man, they were my favorite. I feel like that's how YouTube videos, like YouTube content creators, they have the same effect as a writer for a movie, a TV show, music video. It don't matter what it is. Like it has that effect on you. And so, yeah, people, I guess, like to, briefly explain the hate surrounding my name. It was bad at one point, where, it was like, it was for some people, it was their source of entertainment. Like, I feel like it was almost 4 years. It was late 2016 all the way up until maybe like mid 2020. The hate was strong surrounding me. Like, I couldn't escape the hate. I couldn't, and that was one thing, because I did just talk about this recently, where it was like, it wouldn't be a situation where I'd be able to change my name, because that was one thing I didn't want to do, was have to start all over. I'm like, I've had my channel for years. I've built my channel up to a good standing at the time. I'm like, I don't want to start all over, So yeah, it was bad. Like, I'll admit, it was bad at one point in time. And I mean, like, these guys, I think I've explained it, how it's like, lies were being told about me. I mean, they were trying to do any and everything's in their power to get me to quit content creating. And I'd still, to this day, I'll never understand. Like, this was all because I didn't want to listen to his advice about reaction videos. And I'm like, okay, if you do reaction videos, then I can understand. But what sense does that make? You don't like reaction videos, so why are you giving out advice to somebody that does reaction videos? That's like me giving out makeup tutorial advice, and I don't even care for that content. I ain't gonna say I don't, like it, but I ain't gonna say, oh, I'm a big fan, I watch them and all. I just respect people's content, even if it's content that I'm not even gonna say I don't like the content. I just don't particularly care for watching the content. But let's say if it's a friend of mine's and they're like, hey, I'm getting into content creating, and that's the content that they get themselves into, I can learn a thing or two, then when I get into a relationship and then she's all like, oh, I need you to look for it, because I feel like that, with like stuff like that's a foreign language to a man. So I'm like, to have a friend that, overall knows a little bit about that stuff, and then I'm watching it might catch, whoever my significant other, whoever she is, off guard. But at the same time, I'm like, it's good research, so that's why I'm like, I ain't gonna say I don't like the content, but I'm not going to harass a person over the content, so, and I mean, yeah, there's content out there, I would have to say, racist content, like if there's content that I don't like, there's, that and stuff. If anything, I'll laugh at it, but I'm not going to take it to the heart and things, and where I'm like, oh, I gotta harass this person for, multiple years and stuff. And I feel like a lot of people would bring up Minnesota Boy, and it was like, oh, you harassed him and stuff. Let's just clear that up real quick, because the thing is this, when it comes down to content creating, I already know the moves that's gonna be made against me before it even happens, and because I feel like people would overall bring him up and stuff. So, but anyways, Minnesota Boy, for those that don't know, racist content creator. He did these racist rants about white people. He tried to get me involved. I didn't want no parts of it. That's that story. It wasn't no, oh, I seen his video and then afterwards, because people like to, have it where they tell a story, but they tell it in a way where it benefits them or some other parties and stuff. And I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna work with me, So I guess, like, yeah, there might be some people that'll believe it, but I think that when we realize what audience we're dealing with, and it's like, oh, there's that audience. Well, we have to see the other or hear the other person's story, because yeah, it's hearing it from just a robot and his fans. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, nah, bruh, we gonna have to do some research and stuff. It's funny how they always like to hit people with the, oh, show proof and this and that, but it's like, you guys do the same thing. And besides, because I feel like besides talking about these tweets, it's just overall their behavior, where it's like, it's very hypocritical behavior. They'll call you out on something, then turn around and do it themselves. And I'm like, so it works for you, but it can't work for us. Like, you guys can talk on things, but we can't talk on things. What sense does that make? I guess, like, and that's the thing too, where it's like, I remember for a while they wanted me to debate Just a Robot. They wanted us to have a conversation. More so his fans. I feel like that my fans, they don't care for content like that. They came here for the entertaining content. So, but overall though, I do remember that was a conversation at one point in time. But I'm like, how are we going to have a debate or a conversation if the conversation is going to be dominated by him or somebody that he done invited into the conversation and stuff? So, and I'm like, and I seen firsthand how that was when he had that conversation with that girl that he was stalking at VidCon. Why would I put myself through that? So yeah, I kind of seen his patterns and his behaviors before all this stuff had happened with them. But yeah, overall though, I did see some tweets that he was tweeting out. And so, yeah, to explain, going back to Twitter, because I feel like I just, I went off the deep end, started talking about some other stuff, went off topic, got distracted. So, but anyways, so yeah, Twitter, they got like this weird algorithm system where if you look your name up, because there was a tweet of mine recently that went viral where I was talking about this. I had posted a picture of Shawn Wayans when he was dressed up as the bodega guy in White Chicks, because him and his brother Marlon Wayans, they were doing an interview, and the guy that was interviewing them looked just like Sean's character from White Chicks. And I was like, bro, that's one of those things where I'm like, if White Chicks was based on a true story, that was the bodega guy. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, man, like, look, if you can't find that interview. And then, because it's a recent interview, it's to promote the new Scary Movie that they just recently did. If you guys can find that interview of both him and Marlon Wayans, and they're talking to a guy that looked just like Sean's character, trust me, you'll see. Or you could just scroll through my tweets and stuff, and then you'll see. I think it's, yeah, because I just posted the picture of Sean, so you can click on it, see the video for yourself, and then see overall what I'm talking about and stuff. So yeah, the tweet went viral, and I mean, it was quite a few people that were tweeting me. A bunch of people. I think it was like, I think that tweet, it reached up to over like 3,000 likes. Few people retweeted it and stuff. Yeah, it was pulling some numbers. It's funny how on Twitter, like, I'll have my random moments when I'll go viral. Like, I'll respond to something or tweet out something, and I'm like, it didn't happen with wrestling. I remember there was that trend where there would be like, something is over party, and yeah, I had my tweets going viral during that. So yeah, I've had my moments where I've gotten some likes, I've gotten some retweets and all that stuff. So, but anyways, I was looking that tweet up because I know YouTube is like that, and there's at times where I've seen where Twitter, they won't show all of the different tweets that were tweeted out to you. So I looked my name up. I wanted to see if I had missed anything, because I was curious, So anyways, because I know with YouTube, they have it set up where it's like they'll have like comments hidden. Why, I don't know. But overall, I seen in all these different tweets that Just a Robot was tweeting out over the time where me and his drama was really active. And so like more so from 2016 all the way up until, I think the latest I seen was 2018. And so, and it was, the thing is this, I didn't see a lot of those tweets. I didn't care for seeing those tweets. But it was funny because there was one tweet that I seen where he was like, "Oh, TMossBoss is talking about me, but he's not adding me. I'm pretty much I wasn't mentioning him in the tweet. I wasn't tweeting out his username and stuff. I think if anything, I was just referring to him as a hater, or maybe I was calling him by his content creating name. But my thing is this: a lot of the tweets that I seen that he was making about me, I wasn't mentioned either. More so like he didn't at me and stuff. So that's why I'm saying like these guys are hypocritical. I'm like, how are you gonna call me out on something? You're literally doing the same thing. And it's funny how like blind his fans are. You know, he makes that tweet, his fans like it, you know, cracking jokes, all that other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, like, they're that blind so they don't even realize that you're doing the same thing. Like, I just remember there was another time too. This is kind of off topic, but I remember there was another time. Well, I mean, it ain't really that much off topic. It's still, you know, referring to them guys being a hypocrite. But I think there was a time where before all this stuff was going on, I remember somebody had showed it to me and they was all like, oh, he blocked somebody. He was like calling you out on blocking him and others and stuff. And so, but I think he was being called out for something. He didn't really know how to respond to it. So he did block the person. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, and even now, like with the stuff that's going on with I guess like, you know, not so much. I feel like everybody, they already know. It's like, yeah, you defended a pedophile, you're a pedophile yourself. So there ain't really no conversation that needs to be there and things. But I know that there were some YouTubers that he was trying to avoid, because it was actually K-Huck, where for those that don't know who she is, content creator on YouTube. She's actually one of the first few content creators that interviewed me to actually talk about Just a Robot. So yeah, she's always gonna get love and support on the podcast channel, any and everywhere and stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, she reached out to him and wanted to have a conversation. And his words, I can't say it because I don't know how Spotify for podcasters, I don't know how they are with explicit words. And I know YouTube be demonetizing if they hear an explicit word. So, but let's just say he said he used the explicit word there, the F word, and so yeah, say F off. And I'm like, man, I don't get it. You know, all these years you wanted to talk to me, now somebody want to talk to you, and that's how your response is. And that was the crazy thing about it, you know, because I feel like that, you know, I need to tell people where I was at mentally when it came down to those guys in that time frame. Like, why didn't I want to talk to them? I wasn't in the best spot mentally when the drama between me and him started. I was stressed out from work, you know, content creating it was doing good, but at the same time, when all that stuff with him had happened, I wouldn't say it was stressful, but it was kind of like, dang, you know, I'm putting in, like all this, like, time with content creating, trying to, you know, make that next big video and stuff. So I'm stressed out with that. Personal life things. I'm saying, like, it was a lot going on in my head, and the last thing that I want to do is get all riled up arguing with these guys about some content that they very well could have just avoided. You know, like, that was a thing I never understood. So yeah, and I've mentioned this before, how I was doing any and everything that I could to avoid those guys. You know, like, I don't want to talk with you guys, I don't want to be bothered with you. But yeah, they made it clear. There's like, and even still to this day, you know, you still see a lot of his a lot, you know, is a strong word to use and stuff. Yeah, the few fans he has left, and I guess the ones that do know about me, they do try to keep the drama alive. And I'm like, fam, nobody cares about the drama like that. I don't think they understand that and stuff. But that's why over the years I tried to do any and everything I possibly could to explain it to them. I'm like, bruh, people don't care about the drama like that, you know. So when I'm doing these podcast episodes, videos, whatever, it's like, it's more so to inform people about the drama. And it's funny how they always try to put out that narrative that I was the one that couldn't let go of the drama. Fam, I was trying to let go of the drama the first day it started. I displayed how I didn't care about the drama. I displayed how I didn't care about the opinions that you guys had on me. It's like, fam, you're wanting somebody, and it's funny because put him in that same scenario, he ain't sitting down watching every single video that's being done. I guarantee and I promise you, there is definitely a lot of different different videos that he skipped out on. Even out if you exclude, like, and more so talking on the recent years and stuff, exclude me out of the list. There was a lot of different videos and people that were talking about him over this Cinebear stuff. You think he watched every one of those videos? So it's just, to me, and then it's like, and I guarantee and I promise you, he would, if he had to do a video where he was addressing all of the people that made videos about him. Well, you know, the funny thing is that he doesn't even have to do that. He displayed it when the evidence was showcased to him of Cinebear. He didn't read all the evidence that was surrounding her. He skimmed the words and stuff. And that's why I'm like, fam, again, hypocritical. You know, it's like you get on me for, because I remember that was like one of the first few times when we had talked. He was upset the fact that I didn't watch the video, and I'm like, I don't care for watching the video. I'm like, I already have a lot on my plate. The last thing, because I think, yeah, I had just stopped beefing with Minnesota Boy, and then the drama with that Thomas the Tank Engine fan base, that was kind of starting up. And I'm trying to think, was I going through anything else? I think those was like really the only two things. So I'm like, done pretty much like exhausted my brain from trying to come up with video ideas and stuff to say about Minnesota Boy. Now I'm getting into it with a whole fan base of a grown adults, fans of a kid cartoon. No, not even so much as them being a fan of it, but portraying to be the characters from the show. And I'm like, now I'm trying to explain to full grown adults that that's weird, because I'm like, this is a kid show. Kids is going to be looking for these characters, not full grown adults. So yeah, I'm like, especially with the internet, like a kid don't know like the difference from right and wrong on the internet. So yeah, dealing with that, I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm like, I ain't trying to be dealing with you guys because you don't like the fact that I'm doing reaction videos or defending people that do reaction videos. So yeah, man, there's a lot of hypocritical stuff coming from those guys. And I mean, even still to this day, it's like stuff that they say and do, and I'm like, or I guess like stuff that they get on me about, and I'm like, fam, you guys do the same thing. Like, what is it? I have to say, the only thing that I guess that we don't have in common is that, yeah, I'm not a pedophile. You know, it's like I can respect when a kid, you know, comes to my channel, or whether it's Twitch, YouTube, or any other social media platforms. You know, like a conversation that I would have in front of their, you know, parent. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much a conversation where I'm like, okay, I know it's not going to be a crazy conversation and stuff. So pretty much, yeah, I have respect for people. Can they turn around and say the same thing? Can they say that they have respect for people? Because if so, then I'm like, if it's one of those, if somebody has like a list of all the different people he done got into it with, can he actually say that he has respect for them? And not on no like old silly trolling answer, but like on a serious note, can he say that he has respect for them? So yeah, I'm like, I think that's another thing that, you know, we don't have in common, is that, yeah, I actually can show respect, and it doesn't have to be a kid, it could be anybody, you know? So yeah, but I definitely stand by that, is that, you know, him and his fans, they are a bunch of hypocrites and stuff. Cause yeah, it's like you get on somebody about some stuff, then y'all turn around and do the same thing, but it's all like, oh, but it's different. It's not the same. All right. Okay. I'm like, you try telling that to somebody else, but anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you are new to the channel. Follow and subscribe if you are new to the podcast. And yeah, if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, I don't know why I did that different. But anyways, thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.